We'll start with the prayers. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Viddhishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Many of the participants of this program had requested me to take Bhashyam version of Taittriya Upanishad, and having finished the Taittriya Upanishad in my normal way, I thought I will spend some time on the Shankara Bhashyam. A couple of things about Bhashyam study is, number one, it is a very, very long study. Shankaracharya takes each word of the Upanishad and analyzes. So it takes a long time to study the commentary of the Bhashyam. I have not taken notes of the chapter 1 because it is purely a chapter mentioned for preparation of the mind, which I'm sure most of you are already. Therefore, I didn't write any notes on that. I have the notes on Shankara Bashyam for chapter 2 and chapter 3. Now, these notes are extremely long, and it is 1,700-800 pages. After you have gone through this Shankara Bashyam, maybe I will take 1 or 2 sessions. If there is interest, I will take the next session also on Shankara Bashyam. If there's not much interest in the Bashyam, then I will stop and then I will start the next Upanishad. So I will take a poll at the end of the end of this today's session, and you can give your comments as to whether you like to continue with the Bhashyam or we take the next Upanishad. Okay, so with this, I will give you a brief rundown so that you get an idea of how these Bhashyams are written. First, I will give you what is the summary of chapter 1, and then I will talk about verse number 211. That means the second chapter, the first section, the first mantra. So this is the index of the first portion of the first verse. Now this has got 47 topics. One verse, 223 pages, 223 slides for one verse. That is Shankara Bhashyam. And then for second verse also another 200 pages, something like that. So like this, we have the chapter 2, which has got 31 anuvakas, and chapter 3, which are 16 anuvakas. So all this, chapter 2 and 3, it's about 1,700 pages. So after understanding a few pages, if you are interested to study the entire Bhashyam on your own, you can write to me. I will send you the 1,700 pages of the notes, and then you can be in touch with me about how to study those notes. I'll give you some tips of how to study. So today what I'll do is I will give you the presentation for the first verse. Today I'm just going to go through as much as possible on the first verse, which is basically all these 47 topics. Before going to the details of this verse, I will just run through the index itself so that you get an idea of how Shankaracharya analyzes the first topic. The first topic is Om Brahma Vida Apnoti Param Tadesham Yuktan Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, that verse. So that verse, he starts by asking, what is samsara? What is the spiritual journey? What is Anubandha Chatushtayam? Who is a fit adhikari for doing this Bashyam study? These are the introductory portions. Then the Bashyam starts on the verse. The first topic taken up is what is Brahman? Then he introduces something called as a Purva Pakshi or objectionist. This is the style in which Bashyam commentaries are written. So when you write a commentary, you create a doubt in the mind of a seeker, and then you answer. Again, you create a doubt, again you answer. So this way, a Bashyam study is meant to clear your doubts, which may arise when you study the verses of the Upanishad. So the first Purva Pakshi, the first doubt which is being answered is, why can't we attain Brahman? If Brahman is my nature, what is the reason that I can't understand this Brahman? Why do I have to study Upanishads to know myself? Then Shankaracharya gives the answer, and he says that the problem here is ignorance. And the solution is jnanam. It is not a karma phalam, but it is a jnana phalam. He distinguishes what is the difference between karma phalam and jnana phalam. That is the central gist of this entire portion. Then he takes up the study of Brahma Vida Apnoti Param Tadesham Yukta. These are the actual words of the mantra. Then he goes into some grammar discussions. What is Samanadi Karanya Vakyam? Then a second Purva Pakshi, the second objection is raised. If there is only one Brahman, according to the Vedantas, according to you, the Vedantin, why do we need three adjectives, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, to describe one Brahman? To that, Shankaracharya replies, Brahman is Satyam and it is Karanam. Okay? And all karyams are mithya. And then he gives a definition of mithya. What is mithya? And what is the problem if Brahman is only the material cause and not the intelligent cause? These are the questions which are raised and answered. Then the next point is, Brahman is jnanam. Jnana means consciousness. If Brahman is consciousness, why is he not a knower? what is the nature of Brahman as consciousness and what is the nature of Ahamkara as the knower? What are the advantage of using Brahman as consciousness? These are all the questions which are answered, asked, answered, asked, answered. It is not a very direct. You see, when you study the Bashyam, the Shankaracharya Bashyam goes a little bit here and there, and then it is not. I have tried to compile all those portions into this type of 47 topics. Then the question raised by Purva Bakshi, there's a very important question, which is a question which we always ask. All the seekers, when they study Taittriya Upanishad, they ask this question. After negation of 5 koshas, I experience nothing. See, that question is being answered. How does Shankaracharya answer that question? He says that Shastra or Shruti is trying to reveal something which the sense organs cannot know. Your mind cannot know. So it is trying to reveal something. It is a pramanam. A pramanam should have a prameyam, an object to reveal. So you cannot say that the pramanam is trying to reveal nothing. So then he gives 4 arguments to negate nothingness, which is a concept of the opponent, Purva Pakshi. Then the next topic is Brahman is introduced as Atma. What is Atma? How does Brahman become Atma? For that, there is a concept called Anupravesha Shruti. Anupravesha Shruti means Brahman enters the body as though enters the body and remains as consciousness. To understand this, we need to understand there are 2 types of knowledge. One is Vritti Jnanam, another is Swarupa Jnanam. Then there is some revision portion about Vritti Jnanam and Swarupa Jnanam. Another question comes from Purva Pakshi. If Brahman is not a knower, how Brahman is omniscient? You know, Veda always says it is all-knowing principle. If it is not a knower as by Vritti Jnanam, how is a Brahman a knower of everything? Then Shankaracharya replies, Brahman is knower as Sakshi Chaitanyam, by mere presence. This point is very important because many people see these are all the ways in which you try to understand the nature of consciousness. So by mere presence, the fire burns. There is no action involved in fire. Similarly, Brahman, by mere presence, I am existing, I am. When you say I am, like the sun is existing and all the interactions take place on the earth, similarly, by the mere presence of Brahman as eternal existence principle, it is a knowing principle. Jnanam. You see, we have got 3 words, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. So the nature of Sakshi is explained exactly like how Keno Upanishad has explained in the 2nd verse. Shrotrasya Shrotram, Manaso Manoyat, Vacho Hi Vacham, that verse. Then Gita chapter 7, the 26th mantra, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. See, we have got some, Shankaracharya uses Svetashwara Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Keno Upanishad to explain the nature of Brahman, which is said in all those other Vakyams also. Then there is an analysis of the differentiation between Vritti Jnanam and Swarupa Jnanam. There is a discussion about the changeless nature of this eternal essence in us. Jnanam, if you take the normal Vachyartha, it has a meaning of knowledge of an object. What Shankaracharya says is, don't take knowledge like that when it comes to your nature. You take the Lakshyartha. What is Lakshyartha? How do you use the Lakshyartha? He explains. Then comes the next question. Why do we use indirect definition for Brahman, which is Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam? It is an indirect definition. Why can't you define directly? Then he gives the reason. What are the things which is possible to describe by words directly, and what things cannot be described by words? There are 4 or 5 conditions. He mentions that. A direct meaning cannot be used for Brahman because Brahman is not with gunas. Therefore, we have to use an indirect method, Lakshyartha. What is the condition for Lakshyartha? That is described. See how deep it is taken one by one, one by one. We are still analyzing only 3 words. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. Then there is some grammar discussion from Vakya Vritti. Niyama, Niyamya, Niyamaka, what governs a word, what is being revealed, all that, some discussions are there. Then the question is asked, are the 3 words mutually connected or not? Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. So then the discussion again goes into grammar. After this, topic number 40, the Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam discussion is primarily over. Then the next word taken up is Yoveda Nihitam Guhaya. Then the Guha. What is a Guha? What is the cave of the intellect? What are the derivations of the word Guha? Then the next sentence is So Shnute Sarvan Kaman Saha Brahmana Vipaschiteti. Does Jnani enjoy all the pleasures instantaneously, simultaneously, or one by one? What is the meaning of Vipaschita? What is the significance of Srishti Prakaranam? What is Karyam and Karanam? What are the 3 types of Satyam? Paramarthikam, Vyavaharikam, Pratibhasikam. So these are the 47 topics. See, by and large, if you see, these are primarily technical in nature. Technical means you need to understand some of these words technically so that you arrive at the proper meaning of what the Upanishad wants you to understand. So that is how Shankaracharya builds up the commentary. And when you read the commentary of Shankaracharya, even though it is difficult, even though it is time consuming, for very sincere students, if you run through the commentary and the descriptions of the commentary in English, you will get some idea of some of the intricacies of understanding Vedanta. If you want to have a general knowledge about what the Upanishads are, that is what I'm doing. That is what I'm trying to do in my normal class sessions. But this is meant for very serious students who want to go into the depth of the meaning of Shankaracharya's words on these Upanishads. And Shankaracharya has written commentary on all the 10 Upanishads. You can find them. They are all in Sanskrit. Some of them are available translations in English also. You can go through them in the website, and you can Google and find out. There'll be a lot of them. But it requires patience, and it requires a tedious, methodical study. You cannot skip one portion of a Bhashyam and then try to take up some portions and all that. That type of study will not work in Bhashyam study. You have to be very regular, devote 1 hour of your time every day, and then you have to read, listen, and so on. That is how you study Bhashyam. Normally, Bhashyams are taught in Vedantic schools, like Chinmaya school, where they train Swamijis, brahmacharis. When they go for a 2-3 year study, they take Bhashyams there. I have written commentary. I mean, I've tried to translate the Keno Upanishad completely, all the chapters. So that will be ready within 2 weeks. It will be ready. So if you are interested, I will send you the Keno Bhashyam once the full set is ready. You can write to me if you are interested. Okay, so that is broadly the entire Bhashyam study. Okay, so today I will try to give you. I will start the notes, and then we will see whatever we go. Then we will see, and then we will progress slowly. Okay, this is just to give you a sample of how Bhashyams are written and how one can study Bhashyams. So the purpose of this talk today is only for that. Okay. Initially itself, Shankaracharya talks about obstacles to study. Why we are not able to know our nature. This is a question which Shankaracharya answers in almost every commentary of his. He says there are obstacles which prevent us, but because of these obstacles, we are unable to know our nature. Adhyatmika, Adi Bhautika, Adi Daivika. See, we talk in general about prarabdha karma for jivas in Vedanta. Now, how does it express prarabdha karma? How does it express at the individual level? That is what is adhyatmika obstacle. See, an individual, if he knows his nature, then he can abide in his nature. Suppose I know I am the pure consciousness. Very clearly, I know what it is. Then I know how to abide in that also. But then what disturbs me every day? The disturbance is caused because I don't know. Because I don't know, the obstacle is ignorance. Knowledge is the solution. Ignorance is the problem. Because of ignorance, what happens? Avidya, because of avidya, what happens is desires are born in the mind. Avidya, kama, karma. These 3 things, they go together. Avidya, kama, karma. All our life, throughout in every birth, is only avidya, kama, karma. Avidya, kama, karma. I don't know my nature. I have desires. Because I don't know my nature, I have desires to enjoy through the body. Then I take up a body, physical human body, and then I go through some actions. Again, for certain actions which I have done, I may not get results in one birth. I may have to take another birth. So this is the cycle which keeps on going. And this is what is called as prarabdha karma and karma phala. When you say karma, it means karma phala. So one type of obstacle is adhyatmika. Adi bhautika means there are some obstacles which come to us from the neighbors, from the environment around us. The situations around us may not be fit enough to our study or to know our nature. Adi Daivika is some very the natural forces which prevent us by because of which we don't know our nature. Lightning, earthquake, tsunami. These are some of the obstacles which may come to us. Okay. The summary of the first chapter is given in this slide. The first chapter which we have not done, which is only a preparation chapter. Mainly what is discussed in the first chapter is meditations. Saguna Brahma, that means Brahman, the consciousness, with Upadhi of the world. It can be the world in the form of any type of forms. You can use Devi form, Krishna form, Rama form, or we can use the Vedic letters. There are some Vedic upasanas on Vayu, lightning. All those are all prescribed in the Vedas. So that is all discussed in the first portion. What about the second portion? The second type of knowledge is called as Nirguna Brahma Jnana, for which you need to study. So Nirguna Brahma Jnanam is diametrically opposite to karma. You can't combine upasana and karma along with jnana. That is Shankaracharya's favorite philosophy. You cannot do samuchaya. Samuchaya means you cannot combine. You can use it as step 1 and step 2. So jnanam ultimately gives liberation, moksha. Karma is a preparation. That is what you should understand in the first chapter. I'm just giving you a little bit introduction so that you know before coming to the second chapter what you should have known. And this verse of the first chapter, the 9th section, the first mantra there, very, very famous mantra. And it tells you what all you should practice in life. You should practice to say the truth, speak the truth. You should study. You should preach what you study. You should do sacrifices like Agni, like any rituals at home, puja and all that you should do. These are all preparations. And then you should grow food. You should have children. All that is said in the first portion, so that these are all preparations for you to come to Brahma Jnana. When you come to second chapter, this is the main chapter, Brahmananda Valli, Anuvaka number 1, the first paragraph of Taittriya Upanishad teaching. And the very first verse is this one. This is the most important verse in the whole Upanishad. The knower of Brahman attains the supreme. Supreme here means Brahman. The knower, the person who knows Brahman, he attains the highest in the universe. And what is that highest? What is the nature of that highest reality? The nature is Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Satyam stands for truth, which is the same in all the three periods of time: past, present, and future. So if you know Brahman as consciousness principle, it exists in all the periods of time. In every birth, you will have the same Brahman as the Adhisthana. It is the same consciousness which is the substratum for all the human beings. It never changes. See, this is a unique teaching. Veda introduces something which is permanent in this universe. In this impermanent universe, there is a permanent Adhishthanam. If you know that permanent nature of the substratum, that is the first step, knowing about it. That is what is called a Shravanam. Through the words of this verse, for example, Brahman is Satyam Jnanam Ananta. I try to understand what is this Satyam, what is this Jnanam, what is this Anantam. Through the Bhashyam, I try to understand. These 40 odd topics which I discussed, they're all meant for us to understand these three words. And where do you know this? Where can you understand this? In the cave of your own intellect. It is not to be known anywhere else. You see, this is another point you should understand when you are trying to understand when you come to Veda. See, Veda reveals something which is there and which not only is there, but you can also realize it. In your own self, you can realize it. That is the beauty of Veda. And you will know when you realize it. There are certain indicators which will tell you, like in chapter 2, verse number 52 of Bhagavad Gita, Prajahati yada kaman, sarvan partha manogatan, atmanye atmana tushtaha, sita prajna. That whole portion from 55 to 72 of chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita is the indicator that you know your nature. So the one who knows that Aham Brahmasmi, the one who knows this Satyam Jnanam Anantam is not something outside, but it is inside. That is what I have to realize, that pure consciousness, the pure I, if I can know that truth, oh my God, what a great achievement in this life it is. Upanishads say that this is the highest, it's Param, supreme. There is nothing else. You may have become a billionaire in this universe, but that is nothing when you come to Vedanta. Money, children, very good children. You have produced excellent PhD, Nobel Prize Award winners. I think it doesn't make any difference when it comes to jnana. You have to know your real nature as this pure consciousness, pure Brahman. If you know that nature through different Upanishads, you see, Taittriya Upanishad has got a style of making you realize through the Panchakoshas. Then Mandukya Upanishad has another style of reaching your nature through three avastha study. Very, very beautiful, extremely. I mean, when you do that, you will appreciate it. It's a direct method of learning about your nature. So there is a transcendent akasha. Transcendent akasha means it is not that space which you see outside, which is a material space, bhautikam, but there is an internal space which is called as intellect, mind. And when you realize this consciousness as your nature, which is a sakshi of the mind, all the desires which you have about this universe, they get all dissolved. So the knower of Brahman is able to dissolve all the external joy and realize his own internal nature as bliss. Shankaracharya has got three broad topics. When he tries to analyze the first mantra, these are the three broad topics. Number one, Brahma Upalakshanam. I'm giving you the Sanskrit names because that's how he presents it in the Bhashya. So Upalakshanam means what is the definition of Brahman? How do you know what is Brahman? By three words, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. What is Brahma Vedanam? How do I know that Brahman in myself is the second topic? And how do I know what is the answer to that? As the Sakshi. Sakshi of what? Of the mind in action, in the waking state, in the dream state, and the passive mind in the sleep state. See, try to understand this. These are very deep understanding of the nature of myself. I repeat, this is a very, very important process to understand. Each one of you have to think about what I'm telling you. In the waking state, the whole mind is awake. There is a reflection of consciousness in the mind, and I have the knowledge of the world. In the sleep state, I do not have the knowledge of the world, and that is called as absence of knowledge. Absence of knowledge is not the absence of myself. All of you know that. So you have to distinguish between knowledge and existence. I exist is without any conditions. All of you will agree to that. In sleep state, I exist or not? Yes. What are the conditions of the sleep state existence that I am there? Totally unconditional. I exist without the body. But you will say that the waker's body is there. I'm not talking about the waker's body. I'm talking about the jiva which is sleeping. Jiva is in the ignorant state, but jiva exists. That existence is the pure existence. That existence is the consciousness existence. That existence is the blissful existence. That is what is called as Brahman. So, in the absence of thoughts, I exist as Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. That is the revelation of the Upanishad. And if I know that is my real nature, then I can say the waking state in which I am experiencing the body and this external universe is incidental. It is coming and going where? In the Adhishtanam of Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. See how deep the Upanishads are. What people generally think that it doesn't exist, I don't exist in sleep state, I exist in some form, something, that Upanishad wants to throw light on and says that is your real existence. And what you are now experiencing in the waking state is an incidental. Because why is it incidental? Because the mind is awake. When the mind goes to sleep, even after 1 hour, if you just go to lie down and sleep, the world, this world, external world which you are experiencing is gone. This is called as manifestation, unmanifestation. This is what a subtle mind can understand. A mind which is exposed to Taittriya Upanishad will understand this topic. And this is how you have to understand the nature of Brahman. See how deep it is. It is very, very methodical, very scientific. There is nothing more scientific than Veda. But then you have to use the logic. You have to go step by step in studying the Veda properly. Brahma Veda Phalam, that is the third topic. What is the benefit of knowing this Brahman? And the Veda promises that by knowing your nature as this Brahman and claiming it as Brahman, you will be fearless. You will own up your immortal nature. You will be free from the sorrow of samsara. Samsara appearances will come and go. Body, experiences of the body having diseases will come and it will go. But you will not identify that as your real nature. Birth will come, death will come, birth will come, death will come of different people in the universe, but that is an incidental phenomena. It will not affect you because you have known the adhishtanam of this entire jagat, and that is what is Brahman. What is samsara? Okay, this is topic number 4. Out of 40 topics, I am in the fourth topic. Samsara begins with ajnana. Ajnana means ignorance about this Atma, which is my real nature. And in this Atma, there is a oneness between the totality, which is called as Paramatma, and Jivatma. There is a aikyam, oneness. So what is the samsara bijam? The seed of samsara is, I don't know that oneness reality. If I know that oneness is the real nature of the jiva, of me, myself, then this experiences of appearances will not be taken as something which is existing. It is appearing, it is experienceable. That is the nature of mithya. You should understand what is mithya. The definition of mithya is it will appear, it will be seeming to exist, but it doesn't exist. What is the best example of mithya? Dream state. The dream state appears to be real when only in the dream state. Similarly, the waking state appears to be extremely real only in the waking state. This whole universe of waker's universe is not available in the sleep state, not available in the in the dream state. Therefore, Mandukya Upanishad negates this. That is, negation is called as bhadaha, sublimation. So the seed. So these, you see, I have given you some Sanskrit text, and along with that, the explanation. So some students who don't have the time to go through all the explanations of mind, they can just read these Sanskrit portion of the commentary and the meaning which is given, and then they will understand. If you go through these meanings, you will understand. The purpose is to eliminate the ignorance which is the seed of samsara. These are actual words of Shankaracharya. And what is a samsara? It is the cause for all the notions in the mind. So when we know about Nirguna Brahman, which is free from all the attributes, the attributes belong to the upadhi of body and mind. But what we are talking about is something which is the illuminator of the body and mind, which has got no attributes. That is called as Brahman. Idam arabhyate. Now Shankaracharya says, I am going to start the commentary of this Brahman. See how right in the beginning he explains what is samsara. Samsara is ignorance about my knowledge about myself, and ignorance of what self, Nirguna Brahman. Self, Nirguna Brahman is pure self without the upadhi of body and mind. All the diseases, birth and death belongs to the upadhi, the body. The sorrow belongs to the mind. What Shankaracharya says in the first paragraph here is, if I know there is a Sakshi which illumines this material world, material body, material mind, that knower of Brahman attains the supreme. These are the words which I am going to explain. So, Mula Ajnana Nivritartham. Nivritartham means elimination of the Mula Ajnana, not of the Ajnana of the objective world. Ignorance about the self. That is the cause of all human troubles. To remove this Ajnanam, the second chapter of Taittriya Upanishad is introduced. And what are the stages of this journey of avidya nivritti, this elimination? Number one, the first is the study gives me the knowledge. I have to gather the knowledge of what is this Brahman? What is this spiritual essence? Once you know that, it will remove the ignorance about the self. Once my ignorance goes away, what will happen? Atyantika samsara nivritti. Absolute elimination of identification with the mind as me. Apekshika nivritti means what? Temporary relief. How do I get temporary relief from my sorrow? Very simple, go to sleep. Or, okay, I get a longer sleep if I pass away from this body. A still longer sleep if I am in a neutral condition of not taking a birth for a few decades, ages. That is what is called as pralayam. So these are the temporary relief from samsara. But what is the permanent relief? Permanent relief is nothing of this is really my nature. So the definition of samsara, which manifests in two ways. What is the main regret in old age? Kritam and akritam. These are the two defects, two regrets in our old age. Everybody goes through old age. You see, not that if you're 25 years old today, after 50 years, you'll be 75. You will have the same. Whatever Shankaracharya is saying here holds true for all of us. Kritam means doing what should not be done. Nishidha karma. I did this, I shouldn't have done that. I should have not doing a punya karma is called as kritam. Akritam means what should be done has not been done. Doing papa karma. So in general, it means doing the right things. I didn't do right things in my life. See, karma is the cause. Karma means action. It can be, see, all of us are doing actions throughout our life. Morning to evening, we are doing actions only. The external action is only an expression of what is in your mind. The vrittis in your mind are the karma phalams, the thoughts that expresses as actions. So both papams do not affect a wise person. Why? Because he knows that his nature is pure consciousness, which is illumination of this mind. Mind is mithya, mind is karyam, mind is product. It is not karanam. Brahman is karanam, Atma is karanam. Shankara interchangeably uses Atma and Brahman. Throughout this commentary, you will find, and every commentary of Shankaracharya uses Atma, Brahman interchangeably. For him, it is the same because it is one consciousness. It is given two names. With reference to the one body, it is called as Atma. With reference to all the bodies in the universe, it is called as Brahman. So knowing Brahman, you obtain Atyantika Samsara Abhava. Abhava means you don't have the feeling of samsara. Dhamma Ajnana Nivarti is equal to Samsara Nivarti. Ignorance, removal of ignorance about this nature of mind, which is Brahman, is the elimination of sorrow in life. That is what is Shankaracharya trying to tell us right in the beginning. The next topic is Anubandha Chatushtaya. Who should be studying this Upanishad? What is the subject matter of this Upanishad? What is the result, phalam of studying this Upanishad? So Vishaya is defined, phalam is defined, Adhikari is defined, all that is put in this capsule form. The person who has purified his mind is the Adhikari. The knowledge of Atma is the Vishaya. And Moksha is the Phalam, Prayojanam. See, these are the three pillars on which this entire study is built. All of us are suffering from sorrow, that we all know. How to remove the sorrow is I have to prepare the mind, means I have to come to the basic principles of trying to understand, come into the study circle first. And what is a phalam? Moksha. Moksha means what? I will not be attached to the mind as me. That's all. See, moksha is not a very. It's a very deep, meaningful word, moksha. But when you try to experience that through the study of the Veda, it becomes very simple. Oh, it's only talking about me as consciousness. That's all. So the text and moksha is connected, and that is what is the Anubandha Chatushtaya of this text. And this is the verse, Brahmavid means the knower of Brahman. Param means infinite. What is infinite? Definition of infinite, I will do that a little later, but just a simple definition is anything which is not conditioned by time, that means it is timeless in nature. Anything which is not conditioned by space, that means it is all pervading in nature. And anything which is not conditioned by finite objects, that means it is not conditioned by, it is limitless in nature. So that is what is called as Param. That is the highest. The Mundaka Upanishad has this verse which says the knower of this Brahman, I mean, it gives a promise. It must be true. It says that if you know it, 9 generations who are born in your family will also come to know Brahman. They will have no grief, no sin, and they will be free from the knots of the heart. Knots of the heart means avidya, kama, karma. And your whole 9 generation will become immortal. That is how the Upanishad promises you, come and study, come. It is an advertisement of the Upanishad to come and study because this is so important. See, that is there in Mundaka Upanishad. We have studied Mundaka Upanishad. Now, Brahma has got different meanings. See, I'm going step by step exactly how the commentary flows. I may finish maybe another 2-3 topics today, but I just want to tell you this is the way the study happens in Bashyam. Brahma has got different meanings. One is very big. That is what is the meaning here. Brihatvat Brahma. Brihatvat means infinitely big. There is nothing bigger than Brahma. Bigger means what? In dimension. It is dimension. Biggest means what? Dimension less. That is what is the meaning of Brahma. Why do we say dimension less? Because this nature of this consciousness is such that it is the same everywhere. Brahma also means Nirguna Brahman. The knower merges into Brahman, which is Nirguna Brahman. Nirguna means it is an entity, a reality, which is taught in the Upanishads. Brahma also means Hiranyagarbha. In some contextual meanings, Hiranyagarbha means it is the total mind principle, intelligent principle. Brahma also means a Brahmana. Okay, so these are the different meanings of Brahman. But what is the definition of Brahman here? Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Nirgunam Brahma. See, all these 4 words are very important. Anything which is Nirgunam is Satyam, it is Jnanam, it is Anantam. Now, this is the Sutra Vakya. Sutra Vakya means it is the essence of the entire Upanishads. And the whole Upanishad of so many Anuvakas is only an explanation of these 3 letters, three words. Like in Mandukya Upanishad, the entire universe is called as Om. The whole Upanishad, the 12 mantras are nothing but Om. Om is representing Saguna Brahman and Nirguna Brahman. So similarly here, Satyam Jnanam Anantam is the word which is used, and then the description of Nirguna Brahma is given here as something which will be permanently there. It's infinitely big. You see, its param means it is niratishayam. Niratishayam means it doesn't have any decay or any change. And then it is the meaning is nyaptihi. I will explain to you nyapti means what later on. You see, this is what I mean to say as the commentary of what Shankaracharya has written. He himself says, go to Mundaka Upanishad 3-9, and then you will understand the knower of Brahman becomes Brahman. The one who knows this Brahman becomes Brahman because why? Because knowledge of Brahman means you attain the nature of Brahman. See, these are all deep in its meanings, you know. Therefore, once you go through the depth of these meanings, the Upanishad the mantra will open up for you in your intellect. How the nature of yourself is slowly getting unfurled for you when you see the deeper meanings of these words. Brihat Tamatvat, to be the biggest entity. Relatively big and absolutely big. Relatively big, yes. The Mount Everest is bigger than all other small mountains. But then what is the biggest? Absolutely big is this only one thing in creation, which is Brahma. Param apnoti. Param means it is unsurpassed. It is superlatively big. Jnanam means two things. One is subjective jnanam, another is objective jnanam. This is where your jnanam topic you should be. You should, when you come to Taittriya Upanishad, this word jnanam, you should be very clear. Objective knowledge is the knowledge with the mind. Subjective knowledge is I myself. The knower and known is the same Chaitanya. Why? Because from this Chaitanyam only is the light in which you see the other objects. So in Chaitanyam, in the subject, the knowledge of the objects, they merge. That is the way the subtle teaching takes place. Therefore, if you know Brahman, what happens? All the omniscience which exists in the world about the objective knowledge, all rises from this consciousness self. It exists in the consciousness and it dissolves in the consciousness. That is how Shankaracharya explains the word omniscient later on, but I'm just giving you the meaning of jnana, how it is dealt with in Taittriya Upanishad. Yo sayo vai tatu param brahma veda. Param, the dictionary meaning is great. But here param has got a contextual meaning. Contextual here meaning is Brahman. Okay. Now, this is where the objection starts. See how the objection comes and how the objection is resolved. That is the way a commentary is written. You can go through the objection, you can understand the depth of this, but I'll just tell you in short. The knower of Brahman attains Brahman. What the Purva Pakshi says is, it is only a figurative, it is not literal. Why? That is the topic number 8. Why can't we attain Brahman? Because if I am Brahman, I cannot be an object. I should be the subject. So this attainment of Brahman, which the Upanishad is talking, is not possible. That is what the Purva Pakshi says. See, all these questions may occur to us also, but then how do we answer that that is why we study the commentary. Object of Param should fulfill two conditions. The Param means it should be the object must be different from me and the objects must be away from me. Now, Brahman does not fulfill these two conditions of Param because he is thinking Param means it is an object. He doesn't think, you see, this is the knowledge, the lack of knowledge of a Purva Pakshi. And then Shankaracharya will come and give his reasons. That we'll see later on. But now we are studying the objection. So the Brahman, the pure consciousness, is not an object to be obtained through jnanam, is what the Purva Pakshis say. Therefore, if it is not an object to be attained, then you cannot look forward to moksha at a particular time. Okay, that is how the objectionist raises a question. What is its essence? Moksha as a goal can never exist because it is my nature. It is not my goal. How can it be a goal? It is. How can I say that moksha is a goal? That is what his main doubt is. There is no spatial difference and it is one. Now, Shankaracharya gives a reply to him. How can one obtained Brahman. That topic is topic number 9. He says, Shankaracharya says, now this is not an objective science. In an object, I understand what you're saying is correct. Object should be different from you and it should be away from you. Then you can go and say, I will attain that object. But here, when you come to the subject, it is not a spatial distance, it is the distance in your own mind. It is ignorance which is the problem. So because it is you are ignorant about it, you think that you are not Brahman. You are not consciousness. You think I am the body. You think I am the mind. It is a wrong notion. It is a adhyasa. Because of ignorance, you think that this Brahman is lost. I don't know. All of us also today, right now, for example, if you ask anyone who's attending the session, if you ask them, do you know Brahman? No, I don't know. That's why I've come to this class. So that is the ignorance which we are expressing. I am consciousness is something which the Upanishad wants to reveal. What is covering this nature? What is covering this is only ignorance. So this is as though loss. There are some examples he will give. I will go to that. Then you will understand this slightly better. So actual loss is called as mukhya. As though loss is called as agantika. This is Sanskrit. As though gained, as though lost. So Brahma Vida apnoti param, attaining this nature of Brahman, one can attain this nature of Brahman is a goal. But it is a goal from the knowledge point of view, which you have to get and cross over your ignorance. Adarshanam is the ignorance. I don't know myself. If you tell anybody, that is adarshanam. I don't know myself. That is what is called as ignorance. I mean, all of you may have known the example of 10th man story. When 10 people, they try to cross a river. After crossing the river, they try to count the 10. But the 10th man counts all the 9, but he misses himself as the 10th. So he keeps on counting and he thinks that one guy is lost. Till a guru comes and says, you are the 10th man. You counted yourself as the 10th when you left. But when you came to cross the shore, you didn't count the 10. You keep on counting what is objective in front of you. You forget yourself. Similarly, we forget our own self and then we look at the entire body, mind, world, planets, galaxies, whole universe we count. But first thing you should count is the consciousness, existence itself. That is what is knowledge. Annamaya is outside, Pranamaya is outside, Manomaya is outside, Vijnanamaya is outside, Anandamaya is outside you, the consciousness. So the externality or the extrovertedness is caused by ignorance. Even in Mandukya Upanishad, Shankaracharya brings out this point extremely well. Our mind is extroverted because we don't know our nature. Suppose you know that I am the consciousness, then the extrovertedness nature of your mind will sublimate. That is what is the benefit of knowledge. Pariksha lokan karmachitan. You see, paranchikani. So what happens is in Mundaka Upanishad, this is very beautifully explained. Our sense organs are designed to look outside for joy. That is how they have been designed. Punya Papa Karma, to enjoy the Punya Papa Karma. The body and the sense organs, the mind, everything is born so that you enjoy certain things of the world and then again take birth, again enjoy. That is how the body is made. So the Panchakoshas are made up of 5 elements, and the Jivatma, who is the content of the Panchakoshas, the owner of the Panchakoshas is that Jivat. That Jivatma thinks that the Panchakoshas are real and the external objects are real, and it is obsessed with the external 5 koshas. So a jiva, like you and me, we all have got Surupa Avidya. Okay, the 10th man story is explained here. Problem of the 10th man is ignorance and extrovertedness. Once these two problems are sorted out, then ignorance goes away. The definition of ignorance is Paramartha Brahma Surupa Abhava Darshanam. I don't know that pure consciousness, that is the ignorance. Missing that nature of mind, I identify myself with the Panchakoshas. And then what happens? I become identical with the Panchakoshas and I lose my entire nature. So this ignorance has got 2 Shaktis. One Shakti is called as what? Avarna Shakti. Avarna Shakti means it covers my real nature. That is one. Vikshepa Shakti is the one which projects that I am the body, mind complex. So this Maya or Avidya has got 2 Shaktis. We have seen this in Tattva Bodha. So you must know this intricacy of the human mind. This is a very deep science about our mind's operation. If I know how the mind is working, then I can come out of that mind's working, and that is what happens with the study of Upanishads. I go deep into my own mind and ask this question. Do I know my mind? Yes. If I know my mind, I am not the mind. Very simple. If I know a car outside, I'm not the car. If I know the desk, if I know my mobile, I'm not the mobile. Similarly, the mind is an object. If I know my emotions, emotions belong to the mind. It is not me. That is what is this teaching. Vikshepa Shakti means my own mind is saying I am this mind. I see, this is where you have to understand very clearly. I stands for pure nature of the spirit in you, the Atma in you. That is the real I. Aham Atma Gudakeshaha. That is the first vibhuti of the Lord. He says in the 19th or 20th verse of chapter 10. Before the Lord starts enumerating all the vibhutis, the glories of the Lord, he says, Aham Atma, I am the Aham in you. That Aham is the pure Aham, the Nirguna Chaitanya. That is what the Lord is teaching to Arjuna there. Everything else is after that. But if I don't know that I, that is what is called as Maya. See, Maya is a Shakti. It is a power which is there in our body. That power is the one which is the root cause of the mind. That power is the one which is throwing desires after desires after desires every day. So if I want to eliminate all the desires, it's not possible because that is Karana Sharira. Karana Sharira means vasanas. Vasanas is a lot of millions of vasanas, desires are there. Like the waves in the ocean. If I wait for all the waves to subside, it will take a million births. What Shankaracharya says is understand they are mithya. They appear and disappear. One desire comes, it went away. During childhood, you were passionate about your toys. The toys went away. Then you wanted friends. That went away. Then you wanted something else. A scooter or a car or a house or a wife or, you wanted. You are always a wanting person. That is all avidya. That is all avidya. The whole three avasthas itself, Shankaracharya says, is avidya. So I am Brahman, the Adhishtanam, the supporter. What is supported? The mind and the body and the world. So because of this lack of knowledge, this comes only from the study of Upanishads. And this Brahman is Sarvatma. Sarvatma means it is the same consciousness as the content in all the bodies. One Atma is reflected in all the minds. So what does the Guru says? There is one Brahman, Sarvatma Brahman Asti. First come and I will teach you this Satyam. This is Atma Darshanam. This pure Brahman is the projector of the waking state. It is the projector of the dream state. It is the projector of the sleep state. If you know that Brahman as the projector of the three states of your experiences, you have learned the first lesson of Vedanta. Okay? So there is no dosha in Brahma Vida Apnoti Param. So Shankaracharya explains to the Purva Bakshi that you can attain this Brahman as though attain Brahman through the knowledge. It is not like a karma phalam. Karma phalam is possible with reference to an object outside. This is not an object outside. It is the solution is knowledge. The problem is ignorance. If the problem is darkness, in a room, suppose there is darkness, that is the problem. You keep on doing so many things in the room, karma, nothing will happen. What will remove darkness? A light stick, a matchbox. So similarly, karma is no use when you come to knowledge about yourself. You have to have jnana. Okay? Brahma vida apnoti param tadesham yuktam. So summary of the entire Brahmananda Valli is mentioned in this one sentence. So what is Brahman? Big, all that is again explained by Shankaracharya, and it is, if you go through these meanings here, you will understand that it is a Lakshana Vritti. It is an indicative meaning. You don't have to travel. You don't have to, attainment means there is no travel involved in this because it is of the nature of ignorance. That is what he is explaining here. So the three general ideas in this Sutra Vakyam, which is Brahmavid Apnoti Param, is Samanya Brahman is generally introduced. That means there is one entity which is the Karanam of the whole universe is introduced. Knowing that Karanam as the origin of the entire universe gives me the benefit of knowing Brahman. So the 3 points is nature of Brahman, Brahma Jnanam, and Brahma Praptihi. How Brahman should be known is the next one, what we have to understand. Upanishad quotes a Rig mantra. Now, Satyam Jnanam Anantam is a Rig Veda mantra. It is not Taittriya Upanishad mantra. Taittriya Upanishad mantra is quoting a Rig Veda mantra, which is Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Now, where it occurs in Rig mantra, we don't know, but here that Shankaracharya also doesn't say. Here it says it's a Rig mantra. Shankaracharya says it is a Rig mantra which is being quoted. I am Brahman, which is Sarvatma Bhava, in the form of everything. So, one thing you should always realize is that this consciousness envelops the whole creation. It is Sarva Atma, Atma of everything. It is the Atma of your body, your mind. It is the Atma of my body, my mind. Atma means what? Content. Like the space is the content of all the rooms in any building. It is the space, is the content of the whole universe also. So similarly, this consciousness principle, existence principle, blissful principle is the content of the entire universe. That is the Karanam for the entire universe. It is from there only everything else comes and it goes back. In sleep, it goes back. In waking, it comes from there. Again, in sleep, it goes back. Manifestation, unmanifestation, appearance, disappearance belongs to the universe. Which universe consists of the individual, which is called as Vyashti, and the Samashti, which is the whole Prapancha. Okay, this is how we have to understand. Sutra Vakyam means it's a general definition and it's a Rig mantra. And it is a Pratyagatma. Pratyagatma means it is the inner core of everyone. There are 4 sentences in this Rig mantra. What are the 4 sentences? Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma is 1 sentence, 1 quarter. The second quarter is Yo Veda Nihitam Guhayam Parame Vyoman. Then the third quarter is Soshnute Sarvan Kaman Saha. The last quarter is Brahmana Vipashite Iti. See how beautiful Shankaracharya breaks down. Then he talks about what is Viseshanam and Viseshyam. Viseshyam means it is an object to be revealed. And Viseshanam means it is the revealing features. Now, what is revealed is Brahman. That is goal. That is the Mukhyam. That is what we know. What is Satyam Jnanam Anantam? These are words which are revealing that Viseshanam, which is Brahman. Okay, so these are the indicators. That's what always Swami Chinmayananda always says about the words which describe Brahman. They are all indicators. They only indicate to you what the nature of that Brahman is. Then the next topic is Samanadikaranam. I will tell you in simple words what is Samanadikaranam. I will not go into the details of the subject matter. You can go through these slides, you will know. See, Samanadikaranyam means in Sanskrit grammar, we have one subject and many descriptions of that subject. For example, Vishnu Sahasranam or Dhyana Shlokam in Bhagavad Gita. Prapanna Parijataya, Totra Vetraike Panaye, Jnana Mudraya Krishnaya, Gita Amrite He Namaha. See this, all these words are all talking about one Krishna. Similarly, 1,000 names are all given for one Vishnu. What Shankaracharya is Satyam Jnanam Anantam. They are all Samanadi Karanya Vakyams. They are all referring to one reality which is called as Brahman. That's all. That is all you should understand from this entire discussion about Samanadi Karanam. This is a topic which comes in almost all the advanced texts. Naishkarmya Siddhi, Vichara Sagara, Shrutisara Samudranam. So many advanced texts, you will get the same topic. Purva Pakshi says, now then another question comes of the objectionist. If there's only one Brahman, how can you have three adjectives? That is the question. Then the answer is given. It's a detailed one. There are two types of adjectives. These are all, I'm not going to go into too much depth because it is something which is all grammatical in nature. Many of you may not be interested. Therefore, I'm not going to, I'll just present to you. There are two types of adjectives. One is Vyavartikam, another is Lakshanam. Lakshanam means it gives you the nature of an object. There is something which is called as Vyavartikam. That means suppose there is a book, a flower in the table, and then you just ask somebody to go and bring that book. That means you are only differentiating between two objects of different natures. Whereas Lakshana adjectives means you bring a book which is flat, which is blue in color, and so on. These are all Lakshana. So what Shankaracharya says is it is Lakshana Vakyam, Satyam Jnanam Anantam. It gives you the nature of that object. That's all. Okay. And what we have to remember is Brahman is the Karanam. Don't forget that. That is a very important fact you should keep in mind all the time. All the Karyam, the products will all go to Karan. Simple example, chain, bangle, necklace, all that will dissolve where? Into gold. Gold is the Karanam. Necklace, chain is all Nama Rupa functions. So similarly, the whole world is only Karyam. All of them, they resolve into Karanam, which is Satya. This Karanam Karyam is very, very beautifully described in Chandogya. If you want to study this Karanam and Karyam, the methodology of teaching the reality through this Prakriya, you have to go to Chandogya Upanishad and go through this section. And that Karanam is called a Satya. It is existing in three periods of time: past, present, and future. What about Karyam? The chain may not exist, but gold always exists. Similarly, consciousness always exists because it is Karanam. That is the analysis done, very beautiful analysis in Chandogya Upanishad, which Shankaracharya borrows and he explains it here. The clay and the pot. Pot is Karyam. Pot is Mithya. The three states are Mithya, like a pot. They come and go, Agama Pahitam. Whereas Turiya Brahman or Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma is Karan, Satyam. See, this is the way, once you understand the methodology of revelation of Brahman, then it becomes easy. Mandukya Upanishad in the Karika, in the second chapter, it says, the very famous shloka, that which is non-existent in the beginning and it is non-existent in the end is necessarily also not existent even in the present. If it exists, it is only an illusion. It is only seen. And they are not regarded as real. The world is non-existent before, world is non-existent after death of the body. It is seemingly existent, apparently existing like a dream. Okay, so I will stop here. and we'll continue this. I just want to get your feedback on today's session, and then I will decide on what to do next week. We'll close now today's session. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnahat Purnamudachade Purnasya Purnamathaya Purnameva Vasishyade. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. So we'll see what is there in the chat box. A lot of things on the. Okay, Lalita is saying we would like to listen to Shankara Bashyam more and more. Okay. Manikandan, very clearly about Brahman Bashyam is so deep. Please continue with the Brahman knowledge. Try to talk. Yeah, Manikandan, what you're saying is absolutely correct. You, while listening in the class, you can drop your mind, you can understand what is Brahman, you can understand your nature, but holding on to that condition is a problem. That is what we have to learn. Jnana Rakshanam. This is one, we have to protect that knowledge which we have gathered from the Shruti. Shruti is the mother. It is teaching us about our nature. If you are got to the level of understanding, I am that pure consciousness, it is the blessing of the Shruti, Vakya. It's a blessing of the Upanishads. Saraswati Devi's blessings are there with you. But you need to protect that knowledge. If you want to hold on to that knowledge, it is a practice which you have to keep. As you listen more and more, what will happen is this protection of this knowledge will happen. That is why continuous study is important. You may get glimpses of your nature when you understand the Upanishadic words. But holding on to it is difficult. And the moment you're able to hold on, that is what is called as Jnana Rakshanam, protection of the knowledge. So you have to be very careful in your day-to-day activities. Whenever you are in the Vyavahara, don't forget your nature. This is what you have learned. Keep this lamp of knowledge lit up in your mind. Like Lord Krishna talks in the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Jnana Deepena. I have lit the lamp of knowledge in you, Arjuna. Now it is you who have to keep that knowledge, that lamp glowing. So much so that knowledge should become so bright that one day you will never forget it and you'll hold on to it, and that becomes your nature. That is what is Atmajnana. What you have expressed is a very, very a practical problem for all of us, but that's how the scriptures tell us how to hold on to this knowledge. Okay, Vishal also wants me to continue Bhashyam. If anybody wants to express it, if you, Balakrishna, you also are saying like to listen more. Anybody else want to express? Shanmugam will unmute everybody. In case you want to speak up, you can speak up. Just unmute yourself and you can.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question, sir?
Yeah, Vishal, yeah, go ahead.
Sir, can you speak a little bit more on the Akash? It is created or appears first, and space and time. I think space is what. So this, this concept of Akash, does Akash mean space and time both? because it's created first, and then within space and
See,
time.
Akash is actually, Akash means space. Okay, Akash means space. And space, the coordinate of space is time. The moment the space is there, time also comes automatically.
So space and time go hand in hand together. They cannot be
They go, it's
separated.
like two sides of the same coin. You know, your coin cannot exist with only one side.
Yes.
It has two sides. So space is one side, that time is the other side of the coin. So the most, I mean, when I come to the second verse of the Upanishad, it will describe that from Atma comes space. It's a very, very important line in this Upanishad. From Atma comes space. That is the second mantra. After the first mantra is over, the second mantra says, from Atma, space originates. Space is born. From space, Vayu is born. From Vayu, Agni is born. From Agni, Apaha is born. From Apaha, Prithvi is born.
So, but you mentioned something like not external space, some internal space.
Okay. Now okay, there are two types of spaces. See, one is called as Chidakasha. Another is called as Mahakasha. Mahakasha means it is external material space. It is matter, material, made up of Panchabhutas. It is one of the Bhutas. It is one of the elements, earth, space, fire, water, you know that. So it is one of the elements which is after grossification. There is another space which is called as Chidakasha. Chidakasha is a reflection of consciousness in the mind. That is called as Chid Akasha. The space which is born inside your mind is Chid Akasha. It is not the material space outside. It is the space which is there in your own mind. And that is what is the starting point of a jiva.
So is this mentioned in any particular, the differentiation which you just gave us?
Yeah.
Is this mentioned in any Upanishads?
It is given by Shankaracharya in his commentaries. It will come in one of the Upanishads. It will come. Okay. It will come. I think so it comes in. See, in Panchadasi, this Vidyaranya, I take Panchadasi on Wednesdays. I don't think you come there on Wednesdays, but I come. Okay, when you come there, in one of the chapters, this Vidyaranya takes Mahakasha, Chidakasha. He explains all this Akasha as one of the chapters. I forgot which. I think it's chapter 3, the chapter 2, I think. So when you study that chapter, you will have a little bit more details, and he goes to the depth of understanding what is the space. Okay, I'll tell you how he thinks, how deep he thinks. He goes into the space which is reflected in the water vapor, in the cloud. That space in a small water vapor in the cloud, in the cloud, which is the Akasha in the space, in the rain cloud, there is water vapor. In that water vapor, the sun is reflected. He's talking about that space in that water vapor where the sun is reflected. Anyway, that is just an example. What I'm saying is
Chidakasha and Chidabhasha are different, or they're same.
Chidabhasha and Chidakasha are almost the same.
Okay.
It's almost the same.
Okay, sir.
Okay, Chit means your mind. Your Chit is generally called as memory. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And in this, where does all your thoughts reside? Where does memory reside? See, normally we store some knowledge in some iCloud. where we have space. We buy 1 tetrabyte, we buy 5 tetrabytes. Those are all external.
Yes,
But
sir.
similar thing exists naturally for us. God has given all of us hundreds of tetrabytes of space inside our mind, where we can store so much of memory. So much of information is stored. That is all called as Chidakash.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Any other questions?
Pranam Shigarji, Amyanshu here.
Yeah, I'm sure.
This space and time are also objects.
They are objects. Absolutely, you're right.
Yes.
You're
So,
born when the mind is born. The moment Chidakasha is born, the space and objects, they all appear.
right.
In sleep, there is no space, there is no time.
Okay. So we should meditate only on the karanam of space and time.
That is a good meditation. If you can meditate on that, fantastic. Very good. If you can say, where is this time coming from? Every day we all experience time. But nobody knows what is the origin of time. Taittriya Upanishad is the only Upanishad which tells you where does time originate? Where does space originate? Space means automatically time will come. In the second mantra, it says clearly space is originating. The origin is your Atma. From Atma only the space and time is coming. That is why it is called as an appearance. You see, why do we call this whole experience of ours? It appears to be real. It appears to be very, very, very solid. It is useful. Utility is there. Solidity is there. Experienceability is there. Shankaracharya says all these three things are true. Experienceability, utility, and objectivity, transactionability, all this is true. But only thing which you remember is it is not permanent.
So, and in which these appear, and in which these appear, this is also not real.
Don't make this mistake. This is an error. See, time and space are products. They are karya. Karanam is Atma. Don't make Atma also as a karya. This is where you have to be very, very careful and understanding Karanam and Karya.
And there is nothing before Karanam.
It is always Karanam. It can never become Karya. So, time and space are gone. They are effects. They are Karya. They come and go. But they come and go in Atma. Atma does not become a Karya. So don't say that this is where this is where one philosophy which is called as Shunyavada, they made the same error what you are making. They also said that whatever is coming and going, the substratum is also mithya. That's what they said. That is the Shunyavadi philosophy. So don't make that mistake. Shankaracharya corrects that. In Mandukya Upanishad, he corrects the Shunyavadi in Advaita, the second chapter of Mandukya Upanishad. So understand Karanam and Karyam. Karanam is always Satya, in which the Adhishtanam, they come and go. That Adhishtanam is Satya. It is not changing. Time and space is changing. It is karyam. So understand the product. It is a product. It's like a bangle and chain. Bangle and chain can come and go in gold. Gold is Brahman.
So that Karanam is the only truth which cannot be comprehended. Simple.
Without the knowledge of Veda. It cannot be comprehended. Your statement is correct. but it is not comprehensible by the sense organs or the mind without the help of the Shruti.
Shruti.
With the help of the Shruti Vakyam, I can understand.
Clear. No.
Thank you. Namaste. Any other question? Namaste, Shama.
Hari Om, Shikharji. Thank
Yeah.
you. First to say that yes, please, it should be great to have Shankar Bhashyam. So that's first thing. The second is just a very small question. I just want to make sure avidya, kama, and karma, which at realization of the Brahman, it is vidya or Brahma Jnanam, isn't it?
Yes.
And the question is, would that mean a complete cessation and end to this whole idea of karma and karma and avidya? I mean, of course, one will be left with whatever prarabdha is left. So that one would have to fulfill. But in terms of the avidya and karma, would that be a total end is what I want to know.
Yeah, it's a good question. It's like the waker who was woken up from the dream.
Okay.
Are there any other traces left of the dream in the waker?
A slight
As soon as
memory.
he wakes up, there are some traces. Oh, I dreamt about this. Some little bit memory is there.
Okay. Got it.
Similarly, when you wake up to the Atma, what happens is that the entire waking experiences are like that dream experience. It came and went. It came and went. Every day you will say, something happened, something went off. So you will be initially, the knowledge is not stable. At that time, you will get pangs of experiences from the world. So a time will come when these pangs which come of experience from the world, they will all subside.
Okay.
And your knowledge will become complete and firm.
And
This
your
is
vyavahara is totally guided like this, Chitta Prajna.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
Prajna becomes sthiram.
Sthiram.
Yes, it becomes sthiram. The knowledge of the truth becomes sthiram. The moment it becomes sthiram, you have become sthira prajna. When you become sthira prajna, then all this, whatever samsara which you are experiencing, it will still be there, but you will not take it as a fact.
Okay. And at this point, the knowing, being, and becoming, all that becomes the same.
Yeah.
You know, there is no
correct.
more need
the
to
knowing
become
and
something.
Becoming, they become one.
Yeah, and there's no more
of
that need to become something.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And just a very slight comment is on the, the way in Vedantic or Upanishadic language, the subjective jnanam relates to the Atma Jnanam, and the objective jnanam is to the objects of the material world through the instrument of the mind.
Yes.
Through the sense mind and the sense organs, which is very different from what the conventional English language usage is, isn't it?
Yes, you're
when
right.
we say
yes,
it's very, very distinctly. They say, "Oh, don't be subjective, be objective," which means they want you to say a very neutral opinion.
That's correct. So that the subjective element there means neutrality.
Neutrality.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but here it is.
Here, that is why Shankaracharya. I'm going to take a few more slides. There are 40 topics for this Satyam Jnanam Anantam. So in one of the topics, I will be going in very big depth about Vritti Jnanam and Swarupa Jnanam.
Vritti Jnanam and Swarupa Jnanam.
Yes, at that time, all your doubts will be gone.
in the fast forward, to when you do the Vritti Gnanam, what I want to know is, because I know in Mandukya Upanishad, it goes very detailed in terms of the waking Vritti Gnanam, and then of course the Swapna, and then the Sushupti Avastha. So what I want to know is, this is really again from conventional knowledge to Upanishadic language, because the mind constantly keeps referring, doesn't it? Because that's what you know, your normal knowledge. So what I want to know is, does the Upanishad and Veda, do they deal with this very large amount of unconscious part of our minds?
Oh yes, oh yes.
Yeah?
Wait for the Swarupa Jnanam.
Swarupa Gnanam. Okay. Well,
Yes.
I'm very curious about that, because
Wait for
that
the
is
Swarupa
really
Jnanam.
where I find it very frustrating as
No.
to how can Upanishads, who are the tallest, the greatest of philosophies, or darshana, is an actual true darshana, why it doesn't talk about the unconscious mind, which is largely controls our conscious actions, actually.
What you call as unconscious mind is called as the sleep state or ignorant state in Vedanta.
It's not the samskaras.
It's
No.
not the samskaras.
Right.
Samskaras are in dream state and waking state.
Uh-huh.
Unconscious state, what scientifically you call as unconscious state, is actually is nothing but ajnana. It is nothing but avidya.
And that avidya, it actually percolates even in your waking state, even in your dream state.
Oh yes,
and even in
Karana
your...
Shariram is there in the waking state also. Karana Shariram is the cause. It is there as a cause in the waking state as avidya, as ignorance.
So it's the avidya.
Yes.
Oh, that will be fascinating. Very interesting. So yes, look forward to. Thank you so much.
Good. Thank you. Thank you, Shama. Yeah, Shanta. Oh, you're there. I thought you're not coming because this is a Bashyam class. I'm surprised to see you're there.
No, in fact, I wanted you to do the Bhashyam.
Yeah, Shanta, go ahead.
Continue. Yes. Yeah. I mean, one thing is, I will be very happy if you continue with the Bhashyam. And unfortunately, I think the next 2 weeks I'm away, so I may not be able to.
Yeah, you can listen to the recordings.
Yeah, I will listen. So my question is, I mean, it's a good, sort of summary of this Shankara Bhashyam, what I understand today. One thing which I don't know, I missed it or I've not fully understood it. When we talk about the sleep state, and we say that at sleep state you are actually the Atma state, where Ajnana, and that is also the, where the Sakshi is, you know that you are a Sakshi because you have slept well, and you know the difference between a Sharira, that state of the Ahamkara state of being and of the Sakshi being. It becomes very clear at that point. But what I'm not understanding is, why is that state, which we call as either tamas or we call it as ajnani, becomes a turiam state in
Okay.
this Bhashyam.
Okay. This is a question actually which refers to Mandukya Upanishad, but I'll try and answer it. Yeah. This is actually a question referring to the three states. Okay. One basic fact you should understand is Turiyam or Brahman or Atma is a eternal existing principle. Nothing to do with time, nothing to do with space, nothing to do with the world. It is always a shining principle which is called as the spiritual nature. I am that spiritual nature. It is the topic, it is the subject matter of all the Upanishads. All the Upanishads want you to go to that state and realize your nature. what the Upanishad says is, compared to that Turiya nature, there are three states of the mind, which is the tamasic nature of the mind, the rajasic nature of the mind, and the sattvic nature of the mind. In a sattvic nature, that Turiya nature gets reflected very, very well, and the jiva realizes his nature as Turiya. In the nature of tamas, it is sleep state. Sleep state is a natural phenomena of the of the three gunas. The sattva, rajas, and tamas, they are three gunas. That put together is what is called as nature. It is called as prakriti. So tamas is in the tamo guna. Also, there is a reflection of that consciousness. That reflection of consciousness in the tamo guna is what is called as avidya or ignorance. You have to drop that. You have to drop that avidya, ignorance state itself and your experience of that, and say that that is no longer true for me. A jnani has no more sleep state, because that avidya state which was there for him when he was a ajnani, it's no longer existing. He says that is a nature. It is something which is coming and going. I am not going to be identified with that as me anymore. So jnani is the one who has realized the Turiya nature. There are many, many steps involved to hold on to the Turiya nature. There are many, many steps involved in the study of Vedanta. Mahavakya Vichara is a very important study. There are 3-4 principles which are very, very important before you are able to hold on to that Turiyam as your nature. So at this stage, understand that Ajnana state is only a coming and going state. All of us, we should realize that the sleep state is extremely important for us to refresh ourselves. See, our mind becomes tired of interacting with the world. God has given us a natural way to bring down the tiredness of the mind. It's a natural state. Given see, the whole universe is anyway, it's Ishvara Prasada. So it's just one of the nature of, it is one of the creations of the Lord. If we take it in that spirit.
But
Am I clear, Shanta?
yes, just one thing on that, because when you talked about the reflection, when say the reflection of the Atma or the Brahman gets on the, when the sattvic mind, it reminds me of that, the example you've given in Bhagavad Gita about the sun reflecting in the water, and the clearer and the still the water, the perfect is the
Correct.
reflection.
That is the
So
sattvic mind.
that's, yeah, so that is your sattvic mind. But when you are in the tamasic, we believe that tamasic is not so, or not, has got all the bad signs, shall I
Yeah.
say.
Tamas means
So
it's just an ignorant state. You just
ignorant state, yeah, it's
so
an
what
ignorant state.
the way you should treat the tamasic state is, it is something which comes and goes. It is natural. Let's just drop it.
Okay, so you think the sattvic is the one which will constantly remain?
Yes, sattvic mind is a wakeful mind. It is a wakeful mind which has become sattvic. It has learned to drop the tamas and the rajas. Rajas is all the thoughts rising in your mind. The sattvic mind understands the rajasic nature of the mind is mithya.
Oh, okay, okay,
Okay?
okay. Yeah, that's good. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
good. Thank you, Shanta. Thank you.
One small question, sir.
Yeah,
Last.
Vishal. Yeah.
So this is a little different question. So pardon me in case this is not, So there are a lot of people in South America who take ayahuasca. In our
Yeah.
India also, they take bhang
Yeah,
and,
that's correct. Yeah, I've heard about that. Yeah.
and LSD. So they get this temporary for temporary, for some time, they're able to lift the veil. I mean, this is my
Yes.
understanding that whenever they go into an altered state of mind, the mind which is acts like a curtain or a veil to the truth. Do you think that these people, for that temporary 1 hour, 2 hour, the veil is lifted or partially lifted, or they can
No,
peek
no,
into?
no, 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 no. See, that is what the people they think who are in that state. You see, you don't fall into that delusion. It's a state of delusion.
Okay.
It is a extreme tamas. You see, it is not sattva at all. It
Okay.
is extreme tamas, and it is delusionary by nature. You feel deluded as if that is the truth, and it can happen to anybody. You see, it can happen to any normal. See, for example, our delusions are simple delusions. Our delusions are what? Oh, if I get this car, I'll be happy. If I get that that girl, if I get married, I'll be extremely happy. If I get this dish, I'll be happy. These are all small delusions. But in those guys who are involved in either liquor or some passion, it is only a delusion of the mind, and it is all the nature of tamas only. So don't think it is any enlightenment and all that, nothing. See,
Right.
Shankaracharya also goes to criticize the yoga, Sankhya philosophy, which also talks about chitta vritti nirodha. Shankaracharya says that is not the ultimate. You see, ultimate is not bringing down your thoughts to a zero level. That is not the ultimate realization in Vedanta. It is one of the state. You are bringing that, it's okay, that's good. You have a control over your mind. It is a state of the mind. But we are not talking about the state of the mind at all. We are talking about something which illumines that. This is what is Vedanta. Veda is revealing something which the mind cannot know, which the sense organs cannot know, but it exists. As what? Eternal principle. Eternally it is there. It is beyond time, beyond space, beyond all objects. That is my nature. Birth and death belongs to the external physical body. It is not me. It's a phenomena which is happening in the world because of law of karma. I have got nothing to do with the law of karma after knowing Vedanta. When I know I am Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. See, that is what is the beauty of these 40 topics which I'm going to discuss in the next maybe some sessions. I don't know when I'll finish. But that is the beauty. So, the Taittriya Upanishad helps me to clear some of these questions I have in my mind, doubts in my mind, and understand Atma's nature is Satya. Okay? When I come to those questions, I will go a little bit deeper and explain to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Shekhaji,
Yeah.
I got a question, Babu bhai.
Yeah, Baba, bolo.
At times, once in a while, we get a dream that you are with a guru and spending time with a guru, whatever.
Fantastic.
Does it mean
this is a great, this is something very beautiful. You are very, very blessed to have such a dream.
So is it a deep sleep or is it just a normal sleep?
No. See, all dreams are coming only from deep sleep. So if you get a dream where a guru comes to you and says, Tattvamasi, you are Brahman. And if you get a dream like that, that means even in the waking state, your mind has been thinking on those lines, you see, which is a good thing. You see, people get different types of dreams. But what you say is it is also a thing which came and went.
Yeah.
Okay, but what I am is I am the light in which this dream has come and gone. The light has not changed. It will never change. This light is me. This light in which the dream came is me. The light in which the waking has come today in the morning, it will be gone today in the night. That light is me. That light is called Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. That is the definition of that light. And the more, next week we are going to study a little bit more deeper for this principle called as Atma.
But is the Guru trying to tell you something, but we cannot catch what is trying to tell us, something
Yeah,
like.
but see, these are the indications that you are ready for something which you have to work on. If in your dream a Guru has come, that means in the waking state, you have to spend your time understanding what did the Guru want to tell me that time? There must be some message behind that dream.
Yeah.
There
But
must be some message.
But once we wake up, we forget the whole sentence.
Yeah, that's correct. See, that is what I'm saying. The moment you wake up to your real nature, you will say all this waking itself is like a dream only. It went away. It came, it went away. One day came, another went away. Okay, good.
Right.
Thank you. Anybody else has a question?
Mr. Shekhar, I want to ask about the dream. Did you just mention that the dream is from the deep sleep? It appears?
Yes. Yeah. See, the dream experience and the waking experience is a product. And the cause is the sleep state.
Okay.
Like for a chain, the cause is gold. For a desk, the cause is furniture. So the cause is permanent. It is there all the time.
Okay.
So
for the desk,
for
the
the
cause is
dream,
furniture.
for the dream, the cause is that deep sleep state.
Oh, okay.
So
But
for the waking also, the cause is the deep sleep state. So this is how Veda presents the dream and waking. In Mandukya Upanishad, the 5th mantra and the 6th mantra tells you the story of dream and waking. And what is the cause? It says in the 5th mantra and the 6th mantra, it says the sleep state is the cause of the dream and also of the waking. The sleep and waking are similar in nature. The only difference in the waking is your sense organs are awake. Otherwise, your mind is the same. It is just illuminating your Atma. Atma is permanent. It is the light. It is like the screen, which is illuminating all the movies which are coming. In the dream, there are certain movies you are seeing it very real. In the waking, also it is another movie which is real. You are with a guru in the waking. You are with learning Vedanta. It's a part and parcel of the movie only. Only thing is, in this movie, the external world is seen. External world, why is it seen? Because your sense organs are open. Your eyes are open. Your ears are open. You can hear the sounds. You can hear very good music. Taylor Swift music. I love that. So that is in the waking state. But in the dream state, you cannot enjoy an orchestra like how you do in a waking state. So, to put it in a nutshell, waking state and dream state, they both come and go in the Karana Avastha. Karana Avastha means the causal state. The causal state is called as the sleep state. These are all very clearly, fundamentally, factually presented in Mandukya Upanishad. I'm going to take that. It's a very, most of the questions which I get generally in all these sessions, all related to the 3 states only. Okay, anyway, good, you asked the question. Thank you, Jacqueline.
Okay. Yep.
But
Okay,
is it Rajasic, the dreams of become?
yes, dream is supposed to be Rajasic, waking is Sattvic, and then the sleep is Tamasic.
Hmm. So if you dream of a guru, then is Rajasic.
Whatever it is, don't bother too much about what is the nature of whether it is Rajas or Tamas. You just say, okay, the guru came, it went. The only thing is what you realize is it went, it came and went. Don't give too much attachment to that. Give whatever is the significance that it is required and forget about it. That's all.
Okay.
And
Okay.
it's not real also, right?
Yeah, it is not real. You see, that thing is, a dream is never real. It is only a projection of your own mind. Your mind has got certain impressions gathered, and it is just projecting that. That's all.
But how did that get into dream, you know? I mean, why suddenly
It is the
Mr.
law of karma. You see, the
Oh.
law of karma. It is the law of action reaction. See, in the waking state, our mind is a recording mind. It is recording all the impressions. And in the dream state, it is playing back all those recorder. Whatever is recorded, it's playing back. It doesn't play back everything because the memory is short. You see, for example, what you ate in the 1 week ago, if I ask you, say I've forgotten it.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't play back everything. It only plays back certain grooves which were created in a deep subconscious mind.
Oh, so that is the difference, because if it went into dream, somehow it's deep inside subconscious mind and it reflected in the dream.
That's correct. Yes.
And it may not be real, it may be real, because if it is real in the world, that is also a law of karma that make it real as a human being. But as a Brahman, there's no such thing as real or not real, right?
Yeah. From the highest standpoint, from the consciousness standpoint, these are all mithya. Mithya means it is a phenomena of appearance and disappearance.
Okay.
All waking is nothing but it is a phenomena. It's like exactly like how you would see in a TV screen. So many serials are coming, so many, you have seen so many things in the TV.
Yeah.
Nothing happens to the screen.
Yes,
Screen
yes.
is the same.
Yes.
So our consciousness is the screen, like the TV screen.
Yes. But because we are human beings, we always say we are not the screen, we are the movie.
Yes, right? That is the problem. You see, the moment you think that the movie is real, then that is what is called as sorrow.
Yeah, because we are human beings and we have 5
senses.
5 sense organs, correct.
Senses, and we say, no, we are whatever.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay,
see?
Got it.
Good.
Got it.
Jacqueline, you have grown a lot in the last 5 years. You have been learning Vedanta.
Because I learned from you. I still have a lot to learn.
You have really grasped it. I'm very glad that you have grasped Vedanta well. Good.
Blessed by you.
No, nothing. It's all okay. If there are no other questions, then I will close today. We will continue next week.
We love you, Saji. You're a blessing to us. We love you.
Thank you. Manikandan, you say you have something? Yeah, you want me to continue this? I'm a witness and I accept all the waking world things, but I am not able to say that in the condition for long. No, see, you can't stay, Manikandan, your question is, you can't stay in that condition because of your ignorance, which is troubling you. The moment you get your knowledge firm, which will come, this knowledge becomes firm only when you hear again and again. Okay, so when you continuously hear this firmness will grow, and then you will say, one day you will say that I understand this is my nature. 100% you're convinced what the Upanishad is saying, because ultimately Upanishad is only trying to all the time tell me I am consciousness. That's all. See, Upanishad is telling me a truth, a fact which exists. It is not an illusion, it is fact. So, it is a fact which the Upanishad is trying, and it will never change. You see, I can talk of the same truth again for so many sessions only because it doesn't change. Okay. Anyway, thank you, and we'll continue. We'll see how long we need to continue this. It appears that most of you are interested in this Bhashya. I mean, I can see so many messages. I'm glad. Anyway, I'll continue this for some time, and then we'll see. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Supratri.
Thank you.
Hari Om. I like the person say we love you.
Oh, okay.
Hari Om.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Everybody loves you, not
Thank you.
one.
Thank you.
Thank you.